Good evening, all. That's if there's anybody here watching me. If there isn't and you're watching on the replay, hello. Right, first things first, get myself a spot of whiskey because it's late at night here in the UK and it's time to have a little wee dram, as our Scottish cousins say. Sorry. That's very nice. Right. So I won't be able to finish this all in one go. Hello, Mo Biggs. Hello, Sim. Thank you very much for joining me. Yeah. The countdown. Everybody uses that. I've got to find something else to use. Right. So tonight I'm going to be inking. I've already done some of the line work on the buildings because that's quite fiddly. So what I'm doing is a page from the Arrow Comics redistributed version of book 1 of Only Death Can Save Us. For those of you who have bought the book from Only Death Can Save Us, if you will be able to get all of this stuff in book 2. The only reason it kind of worked out this way was because Arrow came to me very late on after the book was already published. So I'm putting in extra pages here and there to just help it along because it's a 22-page story, 23-page story in each of the comics and each of the floppies, and then I'm putting extra content in there. And again, that's something that everybody will be getting in book 2. There will be extra content in book 2 that doesn't appear in Arrow Comics. So there's extra special stuff for the backers, and obviously you get it all in one book. It's printed really nicely. You get the extras, all that kind of stuff. So this is what I'm doing here tonight. More whiskey, and I'll get my pens out. I've got a couple of Tombow pens. They're nice for the fine lines because I don't like to do too much fine lining. I can't remember what the name of this is. It's Japanese and it's absolutely goddamn lovely. So I've got one of those. That's for the feathering, and this is just for the general lines as a Pentel refillable brush. So probably what I'll do is those small bits up the top, I'll use the Tombows to get me going. As ever, BB Black Dog is in the background for all those people at YouTube. BB Black Dog have given me permission to use their tunes because I know the guys, and so that's it. So don't give me a copyright strike. Right, Mustafa, hello. All right, here we go. So I'll start doing some bits and pieces. So, what's been going on the last week? Well, over in the UK, it appears that after everybody panicked about the Indian variant, I'm going to call it the Indian variant because that's what everybody else calls it. After everybody started panicking about it, they realised it wasn't any more contagious than the Kent variant. So I suppose we're allowed to call it the Kent variant. You're allowed to call it the Indian variant. And so it's all been sort of calming down, especially since everybody's now been vaccinated, or loads of people have been vaccinated. I'm going to bring this down a bit. So it's all calming down over here. But the thing that's really caught my attention this week has been the whole UFO thing. It's just gone bonkers. The American government are actually admitting UFOs exist. I mean, that in itself is a bit funky. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what they are. My suspicion is we're all being played. This is new technology, and they're just getting us ready to get rid of the petrodollar. It's all a bit conspiratorial, isn't it? I don't know. It's all a bit weird. So yeah, it's all been a bit bonkers. One thing I did manage to get to do in this last week is I finally got back into a dojo. Probably mentioned it last week because I got in on Monday. So I was helping out teaching some kids and doing some training. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, actually got into a dojo. Started getting some basics and some kata done. We've managed to hit some pads, which was really good. So yeah, all is good in the world when I can go training. It's great. What have we got going on? Hiya, Wooly. God, I'm just calling it the variant, so I get arrested. Hey, little crackhead. yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Of course, you'll get arrested in Scotland, wouldn't you? Because you can't say anything over your dinner table anymore, can you? Because not in any fascist way. The SNP have banned you from being, well, I don't know, being able to say whatever you want in your own house. I think that's the way it works. I don't know. I think they're all bonkers. The world's gone completely mad. Somebody, who knows what will happen next? Perhaps somebody will teach their dog to do a Nazi salute or something. I don't know, something crazy like that. What is the world coming to? Oh, my PC's protected. That's nice to know. I love my cranky overlords. Yes, they are indeed cranky. Right, okay. Just putting some little details in, only little bits and pieces. Don't want too much detail in the background there. Don't overpower what's going on in the foreground. I think I'll probably fill that in. Get smoke going here. Smirky smirk. So yeah, it almost feels like things are back to normal. I mean, obviously people are still having trouble going overseas. But I don't plan on going anywhere soon anyway. I'm stuck in here doing this. I couldn't think of anywhere better to be. I've got a wonderful wife, and I get to go training. I get to draw comics, I don't know that it could be much better than that, could it? Right. BB Black Dog. Just putting in some detail up here, just bits and pieces. Okay. Right. Onto the proper pens. The proper brushes. Proper brushes. Actually, I'm going to just neaten those up. That's going to need a little bit of white out in there. Right, okay, onto this bit. Let's get some more drinking soda. Drink. So I'll tell you what I did get today. I got comics. 2 seconds. I'll be back in a second. Today I got Captain Love. Look at that. Oops. Bit sticky on the back. Look at that. Lovely cover. Really nice stuff. So thank you for sending that to me. Just really nice. Got some extra bits and pieces if you can't see them. Lovely work there. I just love comics. I'm buying them all the time. I buy too many, probably. It's a bit of a addiction. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I'm trying. I find it very difficult to draw or ink and talk. It's not easy, you know. I don't know how people do it. I see some people do it at conventions and they do it like just effortlessly. Hey, good night. So I like to do with these Pentel pens is put in the thicker lines first. Yeah, all right, Dale. And then get the feathering in afterwards with the other brush. Of course, we'll get thicker lines in for the foreground stuff. Make sure it's standing out. Got some extra bits and pieces of paper here. So cack-handed. I think that's why I prefer these brush pens to brushes, because I'm so cack-handed. Like that's it. Got it. And if you can imagine how cack-handed I am with bloody brush pens, I'd be all over the place with a real brush. Takes real dexterity, skill, and a lot of practice. With real brushes, I'm always really impressed by those inkers who just make it look real easy. That's a nice thick line. That's what I wanted. Okay. Don't know how much of this I'll get done tonight, because I don't like to take the stream too much over an hour, really. And this is a whole page, so although it's a fairly simple page, it's just D standing in front of a burning city saying, I'm gonna fuck you up. Okay. I think I might pop some of those lines in with a thin pen. Nice. Great thing about these pens is when you're using the thicker brushes, you really have to start at the point and work your way to the thicker end of the stroke. But these work really well by dragging away, and they give a particular feel which works for the thinner lines. What I'm trying to get for, anyway. Okay, cool. What kind of paper are you using? Question. Hello, James. I couldn't go back to working brushes. Too much can go wrong. Yes. 2 push-ups for every mistake. Yeah. I'm using Bristol paper, and I think it's only 180 GSM. And that's so that I can get a decent blue line print off the printer onto the page, but it's still good paper to work on, and actually it's slightly cheaper than the higher GSM, the higher thickness. Oh, what are they doing? That's working. Yep. Okay. That works. That's good. These pens actually give you a real, especially once you've worn them in a little bit, obviously their working life is not as good as the other brush pens, because they get worn out relatively quickly. But just after a couple of hours usage, so you start using them on the really fine line stuff, and the nibs soften up even further, and then you can kind of get you can press in and get a different weight of line, just like you would with a brush. It's really cool. They're great. I love these. So it's funny how blacks work. When you're laying them down. So you've got a white out of something. It always the area that you're filling in always seems to fill in more than you think it's going to. I know that sounds really weird. It's just a bizarre thing that you notice. So if you're going to do a whiteout, you have to bear that in mind. There we go. Okay. That works. You get the my favorite brush. Oh. To get the feather in him. Works. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I'm just so awful at keeping chatting while I'm working. But it is quite late at night. In the UK at least. So I suppose it's time to chill. The first book of Only Death Can Save Us is actually still in demand, but won't be for much longer. I think, depending on how the finances work on the accounting date, it's going to be either the end of June or mid-July that I'll be winding it up. I've had 237 backers at the moment. Thank you, everybody, for backing. Thank you. Absolutely stunned. But it's time to turn that tap off. There are still some books left, but I'd quite like to keep some for potential new customers in the second campaign for book 2, and so that people can catch up. But there will be I've been promised by Randy over at Arrow that I'll be able to get some books, some floppies. So I will be doing like a special where you can also catch up by getting the 3 Arrow floppies as well. And then on top of that, I'll be doing a special perk for people who would like a signed copy of the Arrow comic with the physical artwork from the book also signed. So that'll be something else hopefully people will enjoy. And then on top of that, I'm going to have something special for the people on my mailing list. There's I've already spoken to Preston or mentioned it to him. I'd quite like him to do something for me. And Ink Spots is already doing something for me. And they will be special prints that will be one will be available only to those people that are on my mailing list, so know who I am, bought the first book and all that kind of stuff. And the other one will be available to basically the first 200 backers. So I want people to dive in as quickly as they can. And then, of course, there will be other bits and pieces. I'd really like to do a sculpture at some point. Not me personally. I can't do that. I have spoken to a couple of people about doing 3D sculptures and printing. So it's definitely something I'd like to do. Whether that gets into the next campaign or not, I don't know. But you've always got to keep your options open. Right, I should be able to, this should be dry by now. Because I think some of these characters make really good sculptures. Yeah, it worked. Do, 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 do. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, let's get the back of his neck in. Yes, he does have a neck. This is dull. Okay, let's get his hood in. I'll be next week. Next week, I will be inking some of the outliers because Joe has made it so that he'd like to show quite a bit of book one, the first 24 pages, but none of the other stuff from book one. So that'll be what I'll be doing next week. Look forward to doing a bit of that. Actually, I'll have started already. I should have an inked page to show this week on Fulton Land. So that'll be good. I'll probably do page they'd probably do the first page, actually, that splash page. That'd be quite a nice page to show in inks. But yeah, you should be able to see some more of Outliers next week when I stream. What's this? Okay, it's good. It's going well. Do. There we go. Got myself some refill cartridges. Well, they're refillable things. There they are. They're quite clever. They're for this pen. My fave. Got some new nibs. I had to have them imported though. Bloody hell. A bit serious. I'll get to the chat. Just give me 2 secs. See if anybody's said anything else. Makes you feel like a proper artist when you do this. The danger of cocking up. Oh, Sugar, how you doing? Anyway, thanks. I thought it was about cancer. Yeah, no, they should just come on. Everybody loves you guys, Sugar. Yeah. I mean, damn it. I just don't have time to do that stuff. But it is something I plan on doing because people just love a sculpture. So get around to this bit. In the way. All right. It's still, because I pretty much did most of my inking digitally, mostly because I was scared of brushes. Also because of OCD. So just wanting the perfect line, which I did get actually in book 1 of Only Death Can Save Us. I had some lovely lines, but I did a few pages for perks traditionally, and it kind of hooked me because I'd not really done too much of it before, and I'm going to use the pen for that, and it totally hooked me. To kind of, I'm sort of at a point. I'm doing all of Outliers traditionally. And I'm kind of at the point that I'm thinking I might do the whole of Only Death Can Save Us now, traditionally as well. Which would be a bit of a thing for me. But it would mean I'd start building up a library of traditional work to sell if it doesn't go in the campaign lifetime. But just having the brush, and if you can't, I don't know if you can see around me, but I've got old pages of artwork up from Bronze Age artists like Todd Palmer and Joe Sinner, John Buscema, and the lines have got so much life in them. And I'm not saying that digital inking hasn't. It has. I'd like to think that I got a fair amount of life into book one of Only Death Can Save Us, and it definitely scratched an itch for me. But I am really starting to enjoy this. I don't know why. It's a bit perverse, I think, because you're kind of pressurizing yourself a lot, and then when it's finished, that OCD appears and says, "Oh, those lines, they're so rough." But you've just kind of got to get over it and see it for what it is and enjoy the process and get better. Never going to get better unless you try. I still do digital inking, obviously. It would be silly for me not to. Especially on commercial work, because that's all about speed. It's all about getting it done as quickly as possible. And it is quicker, there's no doubt, for the result that you get. When I could never get the lines that smooth. But then maybe I'm looking for the wrong things in it. I don't know. All I know is I'm enjoying it now. Whereas inking was definitely kind of like, got to do it. Comes with the territory, comes with making the comic book. Got to do it. But now I'm actually looking forward to inking, which I never used to do. And having great fun with the process. And be damned if the lines aren't perfect. Be damned. It's not as much feathering in this as I'd have liked to have done, but it's just such a lovely brush. It's funny because that OCD I was talking about, that perfection in the line, was built on looking at inks by Joe Sinnott, I think, mostly, and to a small boy who loved his comics, those lines just look so damn perfect. And they are brilliant lines. The guy was a genius, true genius. But then when you look closely with a critical eye, you can see there's they're not perfect, but actually that's what makes them great. So that was what I had to let go of, is that sensation that the perfect line was the best line, and that's not the way it works at all. It's about energy, about giving life to the drawing. And Joe Sinner managed to do that with an impeccable line weight and a beauty in his inking. There's some hints at some technology in here. In his neck was in the first episode, in the first book. Sorry, you can see it if you look for it. There's going to be what's the camera gone? Don't quite know how that works. Dooby-doo. Earthquake. Earthquake. Right, that's not going to work like that. There we go. There we go. That's better. Normal surface has been resumed. Sorry. Where was I talking about? The fact that he had little bits of technology hiding in his hood and in the depths underneath his skull face. And we'll talk more about that in the story for book 2. That's enough of that. I can do the rest with whiteout. Where are we? Hi, Jim. Disaster strikes, yeah. So were you toasting me with ginger ale? No, who does that? Got totally into this. Probably a little bit too much, to be honest. It's very nice, eh? Time ago. Oh, God, I've been going 45 minutes already. Okay, let's get some of this filled in. I'm gonna go, no, this way. Okay. Am I going to sneak this line in with this pen? I think so. This brush just cannot do it any wrong. Beautiful pen. I think I'll go to that one. got I just put together a spread today, which is which is probably a little bit scary to think about inking actually. That'll probably end up on this stream at some point. It's going to take a lot of effort, that one, because it's a DPS. There. Also, something else I've found is really good whiteout pens. I use the Posca pens. Posca. They're excellent. You know, as with all whiteout pens, they're not perfect. They do clog up a little bit, and they aren't always a great line. But that's just the nature of whiteout pens. But as far as whiteout pens go, that I've found them to be really, really good. I tried picking up some a little while ago, and I couldn't get hold of them. And I got some big. In fact, Peter Palmiotti put me onto them, but I couldn't get hold of them. They weren't in stock, and so I got some gel pens, and they were god awful. They put me right off. I mean, to the point that I was even thinking about going and getting some white paint and using a brush just on the whiteout. But I found these finally, and they are great. Right, so just for the stream, I'm going to fill some of this in. A fill brush. Tend to use this Pentel pocket brush to do the fills. I mean, not necessarily for massive fills. Just works. It's really quite easy to control. The ink is not great, but in fact, I just got myself some new ink. Not for the Pentel, that comes with cartridges. But that's why I got on this brush and this one, the one I use for feathering. That's why I got the refillable cartridges. And some new ink, a bit blacker than this, hopefully. Mm-hmm. There we go. So he's got his eyes. Hey, his peepers are coming out of that nice. So it's just, the only thing is where I feathered this in, exactly what I was talking about earlier. When you get black going up against the white, and especially with things like eyes, and are they ever big enough, or when you're putting in feathering, like quite thick feathering, like I've got there, and then you have a black area underneath. Does that work? Do you need another white line, maybe a white outline to define the detail on that cheekbone? I don't know. I'll have a look at it afterwards. Of course, the other thing is, with all this, doing it traditionally, once it's scanned in, if you think it needs something else, or you want to do another white outline or something, you can just do it digitally, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of times in the old days where pages would be changed from the original art, the art that you could maybe get hold of in an auction or whatever, and the final finished page, they would be changed. So I think I don't think it matters if something extra happens between the final ink and the page that goes to print. In fact, in some ways, it makes the inked page a little bit more special because it hasn't been fiddled with. I was watching an episode of The Night Manager tonight because I've not seen that. So I was watching that on Amazon. And it's jolly good. Is it Hiddleston? I don't know these people's names. The guy who was in Loki. And people were going on about him playing James Bond. And I was like, nah, he's not right for it. But I have to say, I've been sort of not convinced, but I can understand the argument for it after seeing him in The Night Manager. He's quite convincing, even though he's not Loki. This is going down quite nice, actually. There's only a couple of bits on here that I need some white out on. Postcard on. Yeah, get it. Thanks, Wooly. Yeah, it's I'm really quite taken with it. I was don't destroy me for this, but I was watching George Gently, Inspector George Gently, because basically I'm trying to find stuff to sit down and watch with the wife in the evenings, just for an hour or a couple of hours, whatever, because I don't watch any other telly. I try to completely ignore the news because most of it's lies anyway. And if they're not telling you the lies, then their mouths aren't moving. So, I like obviously I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. I count my blessings that I'm able to draw, or at least the business of drawing, every day. I do 6 days a week. I go out training now. I was training every day for a short period of time, just half an hour a day. But now I'm getting a couple of hours 3 times a week because we're back in the dojo, which is great. So, I like to, if we can just sit down on the sofa and just watch an hour or two, if I'm lucky, of something that we both want to watch. But it's not easy because most of it's. Saying that, right, I was just about to say most of it's really dark, but of course the Night Manager is kind of dark. But it's just well put together. It's like the music in it and everything. It's almost like a James Bond film. So it's quite engaging. And my son's been sitting down and watching it with us as well. But we tend to find something and then we'll watch it right the way through to the end. quite quickly. Not that we're binging, just that there's nothing else to watch, so we tend to just watch that. So we got to the end of George Gently. I think there was about 20 episodes or something in total from all of the series. And I don't know if anybody's seen it. I don't want to ruin it at the end, but it was like it wasn't really a very satisfying end. After getting emotionally involved with the characters, as you do when you're watching these things. But it was really good though. For the vast majority of it, it was really good stuff. So then we went off looking for something else, and The Night Manager is what popped up on the lists. So this is the Tosca pen. This is only a small one, quite a thin one. You can get much thicker ones if you want to cover a larger area. Got one here. It's a big thick one. This is the thin one. I think they do a pack actually on Amazon where you can get like multiple, like a pack of varying widths. But yeah, they work really well. Just smooth out the odd line. Where was I looking for that line? Smooth out. That's it. That's where I was looking for it. There we go. That was what I was after. Right. I think that's probably where I'll leave it for tonight because it's getting late. And I don't want to get too tired and ruin what I've been doing. Last thing you want to do is overwork a piece. But that should be finished tomorrow. So, and that ended up reasonably fast. Oh, they're singing. Sounds like the devil went down to Georgia or something. I loved that song when I was a kid. But I think I just liked anything that was out of the normal, whether it was science fiction or whether it was, ghost stories or UFOs or whatever it might be. I just loved it. So anything. So if there was a song, the devil came down to Georgia. I think that was what it was called. And he was looking for a soul to steal. But I just loved it. I loved anything like that. Right, there you go. I think that's about it. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. I can see on my monitor here. Yeah. Oh, the whiskey's nice. So, hello, 24 Hours. Oh, Joe. Oh, yeah. He's not amused. No. He's not happy. There's a reason for it, and you'll see it in the book. I think that's probably it for tonight. Don't like the way that it's shaped. Those other ones turned out lovely, but I don't like those. But I think I'm just going to have to put up with them. It's the OCD coming out, like I was saying earlier, wanting everything to be perfect. But that works pretty well. Have that look. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. See you, Wooly. Thanks, Aid. Thanks, Aid Comics. Thank you. It's getting there. Right. Okay. Thanks for dropping in right at the end. Thank you, everybody, for turning up. Anybody who's over there on Twitch, thanks for watching. Anybody over on Facebook, thank you for watching. And, of course, all the YouTube people. I'm going to be back live streaming on Thursday with Joe Fulton over at Fulton Land. That'll be in the morning in the States. Yeah, have a good night, James. See you, mate. Thanks for dropping by. So I'll be over there. It could well be on during the day or first thing in the morning with Indie Vault. I tend to pop in on a Thursday and a Sunday for those guys because they have the early show. Other than that, you can go check out some of the videos on my channel. Comic Book Black Belt, you guys already know that. Anybody out there in Twitch and Facebook land, come subscribe to the channel. It would really help them. I think I'm on about 715 at the moment. It'd be awesome if I could get to 1,000. And like I said earlier on in the stream, I'm going to be more than likely doing some more traditional inking next week on Outliers. That's the comic from Joe Fulton and Outliers Comics. And yeah, pretty sure that's going to be like there'll be more panels and stuff. So it'll be a different approach because it's a splash page from Only Death Can Save Us. You can still pick up a copy of Only Death Can Save Us in demand at Indiegogo. Just go to onlydeathcansaveus.com. There's a link there that you can go to. You can find out more about me at russleach.com or comicbookblackbelt.com. There is an email list. Get yourself on it. Like I say, those people that are on that email list will be first up in the queue for the special pinups or the prints that I have that will be available in book 2 and plenty of other bits and pieces. I think that's about it. So thanks very much for hanging out with me and for listening to blather on while I've been drawing. And thank you, sincerely. That's so lovely. And I'll see you all again soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.